out there every day and educating, people learn by example. I don't think anybody has an argument with that. I think that when Huey P. Newton said that people learn basically by observation and participation, I think that everybody caught on to that. So what we're saying very simply is that if they learn by observation and participation, then we need to do more acting than we need to do writing. And I think the Black Panther Party is doing that. That we didn't talk about a Breakfast for Children program, we've got one. We're not going to tell you how many kids we intend to feed in Chicago. We're feeding 3,000 to 4,000 every week already, and I don't know how many all around the country. We're not talking about beginning to think about treating people free when they need medical services. We're opening a free health clinic in the city of Chicago in less than 3 weeks. These are the type of examples that people can relate to. The Tribune or the Daily News or sometimes no other establishment press that is a tool of these fools can belittle what we're doing, because the examples are right there. They're concrete. Just like the old saying goes, one picture's worth 1,000 words, and you've got to believe what you see. The programs are there. People have to see them, and the only people that don't see them are people that shut their eyes and fight knowledge. And people that fight knowledge will never be any good to the revolution anyway.
Warning. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use, for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
In this crooked game of power politics here in America, the Negro, namely the race problem, integration, civil rights issue, are all nothing but tools used by the whites who call themselves liberals against another group of whites who call themselves conservatives, either to get into power or to retain power. Among whites here in America, the political teams are no longer divided into Democrats and Republicans. The whites who are now struggling for control of the American political throne are divided into liberal and conservative camps. The white liberals from both parties cross party lines to work together toward the same goal. And white conservatives from both parties do likewise. The white liberal differs from the white conservative only in one way. The liberal is more deceitful, more hypocritical than the conservative. Both want power, but the white liberal is the one who has perfected the art of posing as the Negro's friend and benefactor. And by winning the friendship and support of the Negro, the white liberal is able to use the Negro as a pawn or a weapon in this political football game that is constantly raging between the white liberals and the white conservatives.
What it do, family and friends? Welcome back to the Church of Black Power. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you're hitting that like and share button so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And if you have not done so yet, please hit that link in the description, go to change.org and put your signature on the petition for reparations. And with that being said, family, the other day, I was on a phone call with one of my homeboys from Dallas, and he asked me, he said, do you know anything about this? He called him Sholdon, Sholdon Daniels. And I'm like, no, that name sounds familiar, but I can't put a face to a name. I can't do it. And so he sends me a video to show me who this guy was. And let me go here. This is the video that he sent me. Let me go here. Hold up. There we go. So this is the video that he sent me.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. And then this is mine.
Okay.
Now, we put Jasmine in office. We thought she was going to do a good job. I'm a lawyer just like her. But she's spending all her time trying to get famous and doing all this silly stuff. When we sent her up there with specific things to do, and she ain't doing none of it. So now they got me running against her. And I'm going to replace her in 2026.
Gotcha.
And I'm going to do a much better job. I'm definitely going to speak truth to power. I'm not a sellout. I'm not going to do that dance. But I'm going to get things done for us.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, when I first saw this video, my question was, because I still couldn't put a face to name. I was like, this dude looks familiar. I just couldn't pinpoint where this dude was from or who this guy was, right? But what ended up happening was, my first question was, when I saw this video, was when he said, now they got me running against her. And my question was, one, who are they? Who are they? They come to find out this man is running as a Republican, which is crazy weird, because we're going to get into why it's crazy weird in a little bit. But it's crazy weird that he's running as a Republican, because a few short years ago, he was not a Republican. But after doing some digging on him, the first video clip that I came up with after after seeing that clip, I was able to come across this news article here. And at this point, I still could not pinpoint who this dude was. Let's go here.
I am a candidate for TX30's congressional district. I'm challenging Jasmine Crockett in the 2026 midterm. And, you know, I'm an attorney. I own a business. Obviously, I own my own law firm. I'm a dad and I'm a husband. I'm a veteran. And I'm just somebody that cares about the community. And I just can't sit around while people are trying to tear our country down. Becoming a dad and just concerned for my daughter, and when the issue surrounding biological males being allowed in restrooms and locker rooms and girls' private spaces, and then biological males competing against girls in sports, that's when it hit home for me. I have a 5-year-old daughter who loves to play sports. I fully anticipate she's going to be an athlete. And I just want to pave a way for her to make sure that she's safe, and that covers all other little girls in America. Jasmine Crockett is more of a performer or an influencer. She's wholly ineffective as a legislator. She wasn't able to pass any laws when she was in the Texas State House, and we don't anticipate that she'll be able to have any effect while she's on Capitol Hill. And so, you know, the people in my district are very hardworking people, a lot of small businesses and hardworking families, not a lot of people waiting around on a welfare check or a handout for the government. And I just think it's unfortunate that those people don't have any representation. We don't have anyone on Capitol Hill advocating for us and what we actually need, what could actually help our district. We just have this person up there that's spewing all this racist divisiveness, and she is hell-bent on tearing our country down. And so somebody has to stand up to that, and God bless me with the ability to do the job, and so I feel the responsibility to act right now. So it's utterly disrespectful, and it's unbecoming of the office. You know, that office, you know, to be a member of the U.S. House of Representatives is one of the most prestigious honors and privileges that could be bestowed on any of us. And she treats it like it is a given. She takes it for granted. And every opportunity she takes, she just denigrates our country and our president. And as a veteran and as somebody who actually loves America, I can't sit around and do nothing. So I'm going to fight back. We're fighting back, and we're going to win. She has her sycophants for sure, but she grows more and more unpopular in our district every single day. You know, the thing about TX30 is it's way more diverse and way more conservative than everyone thinks. And people are chomping at the bit to have an election because they cannot wait to see this girl replaced by Sholdon Daniels. On day one, I'm going to bring professionalism and decorum back to the office and respect for the office. And I'm going to focus on lowering taxes so that we can bring down the cost of living for Americans. We're going to focus on securing the border and supporting our president and his policy of keeping the border secure so that we can ensure safer communities here in TX30. We are also going to focus on providing some support for small businesses and make sure that they get to keep more of the money that they earn in their pockets so that they can invest and hire more people. And then we're obviously going to focus on all the new revelations that are coming out with the DOGE effort to uncover the government waste, fraud, and abuse. And we're going to try to hold whoever is responsible for that accountable. There was a study that came out from the Congressional Management Foundation that found that 90% of voters want their representatives to be focused on policy and not social media, essentially on doing the job and not grandstanding for the cameras. And that translates over into TX30. People want a representative in 2025 that's going to provide tangible and effective change that they can see in their community. Gone are the days where we just elect someone out of TX30 and set it and forget it, and we don't hear about them again until they're getting ready to retire.
So, family, I'm glad he said that. I'm glad he said that, because when he said that, I had a revelation of who the hell this dude is and who he used to be. It all came flying back to me like a bad dream. But before we get there, before we get to who this man is and who he used to be, and the bad dream that this dude has made me a part of. I want to say, give a salute to the family in the chat. Give me a second here. What the hell's going on there? So let's go here real quick. Give a salute. Shout out to us family, Aquarius Minded. Thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate you for being here, family, and your blessing is blessed tenfold. Shout out to our brother Big Black God. Thank you for being here. Shout out to our brother Reparations Nation. Thank you for being here, family. Shout out to our brother Keebelon Nation. Thank you for being here, family. Salute to our brother Reef. Shout out to you for being here. Thank you for being here, family. And salute to our sister and shalom to our sister Black Spider. I appreciate you for being here, family. So I want to go here. I realized who this guy was right after he said, long gone the days, have gone the days of not getting anything. He wants to bring tangible. As soon as he said tangible, it hit me in the back of the head. Shout out to Buki the Realist. Thank you for being here, family. And this is the dude who did this video not too long ago.
So there's been a lot of talk about reparations in my comments. Folks asking over and over, they won't leave me alone about it. I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this, but I don't support them. I don't support reparations, and here's why. First, who would qualify? None of us today were ever slaves. None of us today were ever slave owners. There is no fair way, no realistic way of really trying to determine who would get what. And if we're being real, the government has already spent billions on social programs over the years, and it hasn't created or built any wealth in any community. It's just made people more dependent on the system. So instead of a one-time check, I'm about like long-term economic empowerment. Lower taxes so small businesses can invest. They can hire a kid, give him his first job, right? School choice so our kids get a real education. They can graduate knowing how to read. Safer communities so I can build generational wealth and invest in my community without being afraid somebody's going to burn it or take it. I'm about moving forward, not looking back. I believe in opportunity, not handouts. I want to build something that lasts. And reparations doesn't do any of those things. And so, you know, I'm running to represent all the people in TX30. A lot of people in TX30 are not black. I would be remiss and I would be a terrible, terrible representative if I was dead set on something that's going to harm most of the people in my district. And so I don't support it. I'm sorry. I don't support it. If that hurts you or offends you, I welcome you to, you know, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. But I don't support it. Let me be clear.
Okay, family. So let's slow roast this. This is a lot to break down just in this little bit of clip that this dude put out. And this is it hit me like a ton of bricks. Who this dude was and how long he's been on my radar without me even knowing that he's been on my radar, to be honest with you. But let's get back here. And I know he seems like a tether. I did some research on his background, and apparently he grew up in a single household. He was born in North Dallas, but there's no information on his mother that I found. That's all I could find, is that he grew up with a single mother and his father wasn't around. He grew up in North Dallas. And then everything else goes into his life as a father and all this other nonsense. But let's get into this.
So there's been a lot of talk about reparations in my comments. Folks asking over and over, they won't leave me alone about it. I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this, but I don't support them. I don't support reparations, and here's why. First, who would qualify? None of us today were ever slaves. None of us today were ever slave owners. There is no fair way, no realistic way of really trying to determine who would get what. And if
I want you to put a pin in that, family, because I'm going to play a clip a little bit later that just disputes it. But also, I'm going to I'm going to read you something that clearly shows that this dude is full of cow poop. All right.
If we're being real, the government has already spent billions on social programs over the years, and it hasn't created or built any wealth in any community. It's just made people more dependent on the system. So instead of a one-time check, I'm about like long-term economic empowerment.
I really hate when these people talk about getting reparations or giving reparations to the foundational Black Americans is a situation where we're just making these people depend on the system. No. Go take that over there to every immigrant that came over here and got land. Take that over there to every immigrant that came over here and got funding for businesses and things like that. Don't bring that to us when we have a debt that's owed. And they try to make it seem like such a damn handout, but y'all don't have nothing to say when everyone else is getting these very same handouts. Only for us, it's not a handout, it's redress. It is literally a debt owed for labor unpaid, for building the wealthiest country on the planet. So I get really, really irritated when I hear dummies run around here talking about, oh, that why you got to depend on the system. We built that system with our slave labor. That system would not exist if it did not have the funding from that slave labor, period, in every single industry within these United States of America. And that's the facts. So all of that, oh, why we need to be leaning on the government nonsense, you can keep that for your other people that you're going to run into. Because that talking point right there, you literally shooting yourself in the foot before you can even get out the gate. That's like a horse being on the track and instead of looking at the wind, instead of looking at the finish line, soon as the gates open, the horse runs out and shoot itself in the foot and roll over. That's what this man just did to himself. Let's continue.
Lower taxes so small businesses can invest. They can hire a kid, give him his first job, right? School choice so our kids get a real education. They can graduate knowing how to read. Safer communities so I can build generational wealth and invest in my community without being afraid somebody's going to burn it or take it.
Now, family, I want you all to remember that this man is running in a area as a Republican in Texas. So all he's doing is taking the same talking points that any other Black Republican takes when they go on the road. And I'm going to prove that as well.
I'm about moving forward, not looking back. I believe in opportunity, not handouts. I want to build something that lasts. And reparations doesn't do any of those things. And so
reparations does all of those things. See, these people be talking out of both sides of their neck. They don't know what they're talking about, or they do, and they're full of it. And like I said, I'm going to show that this man does, and he's full of it. Completely full of it.
You know, I'm running to represent all the people in TX30. A lot of people in TX30 are not Black. I would be remiss and I would be a terrible, terrible representative if I was dead set on something that's going to harm most of the people in my district.
First and foremost, reparations is not going to harm anybody in your district. See how he's wording this crap? I would be. Now, here's the thing. I can understand if you're running in a district that isn't predominantly Black, you still have to have policies for people within your district. I'm not going to fault you for that. I'm not going to fault any Black politician who says, you know what? I have to have a platform that's going to be inclusive of everybody who's going to vote for me. Okay, fine. However, the problem comes in when you now say that you cannot represent the people that you actually come from, whether or not you have constituents that's not a part of your lineage or not a part of your race group or whatever. You're supposed to have something that caters directly for your people. That's the whole point of you being a representative. And by you saying, I'm not going to pass something that will hurt the rest of my constituents, that just shows me that, one, you're using another Republican talking point, because reparations would not hurt anybody in your constituency. It would only better America, because that wealth would go right back into America. And that's a fact. There are studies to show this to the moon. But yet this dude wants to tap dance, put on his best tap dancing shoes, and get out there and just go shuck and jive for Massa now. Oh, Massa, I'm not going to hurt you with no policy. No.
And so I don't support it. I'm sorry. I don't support it. If that hurts you or offends you, I welcome you to, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. But I don't support it. Let me be clear.
All right. So, family, he says he don't support it. He wants to be clear. And I'm glad he thinks he's being clear. I'm glad that he thinks he's being clear, because, like I said, I had a blast from the past in remembering who this dude is. And he sounds 180 degrees of what he used to sound like. Let me take you back to 2020. Let's go back to 2020. In 2020, Mr. Daniels here was coming out saying things like this. And peep how we're gaining all this ground in our fight for equality and reparations for slavery without surrendering our power to any political party. We're bringing the change ourselves. Sounds 180 degrees from what we just heard in that video, don't it? Let's go here. And these are the people that you have to watch. And wait until you find out what group he was representing. Let's go here. Excuse me, family. My fault. Also in 2020, he says, the call for reparations is a call that is not going away anytime soon. It will only grow louder until nothing else can be heard. Real interesting. I find it real interesting that he went from being a Scotch supporter of reparations to now flip-flopping as our brother, the big black god, the big black god, I don't know what the heck going on there, just said, flip-flopping to now having a stance that's totally against reparations. And that's not all, family. This dude wrote a whole damn article talking about reparations. Let's go here, family. And this is his straight from his page. This is his website. You can look this up right now. This is from February 2023. Owning our identity, embracing our heritage as Black American descendants of slaves. Now, when I first read that, it kind of sent me for a loop. I'm like, what the hell? It says ADOS. And he made sure to put that black in front of it which now makes it Black Americans, descendants of slaves, of slavery. And in my head, it automatically reshapes everything. But then I was like, well, maybe it's a typo. Maybe he just worded that wrong. Well, let's get into this article, family. Black people, listen up. As a Black American man, wait. Why would you capitalize the Black here and didn't capitalize the Black here? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just one of those type of people that ask those questions. Anyway, as a Black American man, father, lawyer, and advocate for justice, I am deeply committed to the fight for equality and equity for Black Americans. And again, not capitalized, especially for those who are descendants of slavery like me. Yeah, that got me questioning. This is a critical issue that cannot be ignored, and it's time for us to come together to take action. For far too long, Black American descendants of slavery, see this right here, every time I read it, it just makes me 100% salute to our brother Black Truth United. Thank you for being here, brother. It just 100% makes me think that he's trying to widen the view of what it is or what it's supposed to be by putting the Black in front of American descendants of slavery, even though Americans descendants of slavery is already very ambiguous. It makes it even more ambiguous. It makes it sound like you could come to America and be called a Black American no matter where you're from and be a slave from somewhere else and still get those benefits, like a Jamaican. You get what I'm saying? They're considered, or you can consider yourself a Black American. However, it just makes no sense to me that they will also think that because they have slavery or had slavery in Jamaica or whatever, that they would also be entitled to it. That's what this kind of sounds like to me. It kind of sounds like he's just trying to widen the view on this, because he keeps on using that same term, Black American descendants of slavery. For far too long, Black American descendants of slavery, ADOS, have been marginalized and our voices drowned out by broader discussions of race and discrimination. In 2023, it was not just a broader discussion of racism and discrimination that are drowning out our voices as ADOS, but the issues of sexuality and gender identity are also taking center stage. This only further obscures the unique struggle and experiences of our community. Seems like he was being very specific on this. And as a result, the specific need and concerns of ADOS are often overlooked and ignored, even though we face ongoing challenges and inequalities as a result of our history and heritage. It is time to stop allowing others to tell us what to care about, how to identify. Excuse me. Let me reread that. It is time for us to stop allowing others to tell us what to care about, how to identify, and how to exist as Black individuals. It's time to begin building towards obtaining reparations and justice for centuries of crimes and slavery. So this is completely different from what dude was saying here. It is completely different. It is time to reclaim our identity and voice and to stand up for our right and dignity as Black American descendants of slavery. Every single time I say that, it sounds weirder and weirder and weirder. Black American descendants of slavery. It just doesn't sit right. Is it just me, family, or is it just doesn't sit right? It sounds like a trick bag. It definitely sounds like a trick bag. All right, identifying. Oh, Jesus Christ. Let me go. Where was I? It is imperative that we recognize and identify as Black American descendants of slavery. This is the boost. These word salad games that they play, rather than as African Americans. This distinction is critical as it allows us more effectively advocate for the specific needs and concerns of our community. It also allows us to acknowledge the unique history and experiences of Black Americans who are descendants of slavery. Oh, Jesus Christ, every time I read that. And to work together to address the ongoing legacy of discrimination and inequality. And this dude is a lawyer. This dude is a lawyer. Right. He's not very smart at all. Oh, Jesus. Identifying as ADOS on the census and other official forms is important because it allows us more accurate representation of our community. Thus, in turn, can have a significant impact on our political power and influence, as it helps to demonstrate the size and strength of our community by accurately counting and acknowledging the experiences and contributions of ADOS. We can work together. We can work towards achieving, greater equity and representation in all areas of society. This dude, man, let's go here. Hold on, family, because I want to really touch on this. This dude has made a complete 180, even though the wording was wrong. He was still kind of being specific there. But this dude has made a complete 180 and shot himself in the foot while doing so. He shot himself in the foot while doing so. Because here's the thing. His game plan, since he's running against Jasmine Crockpot, his game plan is hoping that people hate her so much that hate will usher him into the office that she holds. And in case people like himself have not been paying attention to the most recent election that gave Donald Trump the seat, we're not voting against people anymore. You can't make us emotional enough to vote against people anymore. We're voting for a specific policy. And this dude, he has no specific policy for us because, like he said, most of his constituents are the people that he's running to represent are not Black. But yet he's using his Black face to try to take the lead in the race, while making a complete 180-degree turn on his stances on reparations. And we're going to get into some of the comments that shows he really shot himself in the foot. He really shot himself in the foot. But let's look at some of the people that this guy Sholdon hangs around, because he doesn't sound new when he switched his position. He just took the same talking points as somebody else. You know who that somebody else was, family? Byron Donalds. Look how happy he looks there. Don't he look like a good puppet? Don't he look like a great plant? This guy right here, he looks happy as a charm, ain't it? And if I can remind you, family, Byron tried to give that same talking point. Let's go here.
And Trump. Dr. King said at the tail end of his life, he said, we're going to Washington to get our check. You understand? So now, what is your position on reparations?
Thank you. Great question. Thank you. We can all be quiet and let them answer. Thank you. Thank you.
I'll be direct. First of all, I'll be direct with you. I'll be. You don't want to hear the Jim Crow stuff. Listen, I'll be direct with you. I don't believe in reparations. I don't.
Well, then you don't believe in the black community.
I will tell you, brother, in the hat with the glasses on, that's not true. What I will tell you is that there's a question if you're going to get into the full economics of reparations right now. Question number one, of all black people in the country, how many of them are actually descendants of slaves? Because you've had a lot of immigration over the last 100 years in America. Of American slavery. There was slavery in the Caribbean. The one brother came up, he said that he's first generation, the brother in the Kango, because his parents came from Jamaica. My grandmother is from Jamaica. So my grandmother's Jamaican. I know exactly what you're talking about. My mother was born in the United States. I'm born in the United States. So there's a fundamental question. You a black man, I'm a black man. Am I eligible for reparations right now? I would say the answer is no, I'm not. Because my family is from Jamaica. My father's Panamanian. His grandparents were born in Panama. My father immigrated to the United States. So does that make me eligible? So you got to go through all of that. That's step one. Step number two, slavery under federal law was ended in 1865. The Jim Crow era ended, obviously, with the 64 Civil Rights Act, 65 voting rights, etc. The fundamental question is, you've now had 3 generations of black people come up in the United States. As a black kid today, does he get reparations? Third question. Hold on now. Third question. You got a lot of other people in the United States. Asians, are they responsible for the cost of the slave trade? No, because they're of Asian descent. People of Indian descent. People who are Hispanic in the United States. The largest growing population in the United States. And of course, the dominant population is still the white population. But even in that, it's not just Southern whites that were plantation owners from their grandfathers.
Let me touch on this because I said this before, and I'm going to say it as many times as I need to. This whole argument of the Asians wasn't here, should they pay? Everybody who's sitting on this soil has to pay by way of their tax dollars, because the American government has to pay. I don't give a damn where you came from. And salute to our brother Black Truth United. Thank you for your cash app, my brother. Your donation is blessed tenfold. I don't give a damn where you came from. There was only one reason why you came to the Americas. You came to America to benefit off of the opportunities that was created off of the slave labor of this country. You wouldn't have better opportunities if we didn't build the wealth to create better opportunities. So yes, everybody benefits till this day off of the opportunities that was built from slave labor. So we don't give a damn about whether Asians were here. We don't give a damn who owned slaves. We don't give a damn about none of that. Because it was the American government, America. Start talking like a Southern redneck. It was the American government, America. It was the American government that kept us enslaved. It was the American government that subsidized slavery. And it was the American government that paid former slave owners because they considered us property at the time. Do not get this confused. The American government owes foundational Black American, aka the American freedmen, reparations. And as long as you're a citizen of that government, you owe too. Hell, some would even say, even if you're not a citizen, if you're here, you owe. Period. So I don't give a damn about what Byron Donalds is talking about. Let's continue.
So if you're going to talk about reparations today, what you're talking about is taking money from other Americans, which quite rightly the pain and the toil that did happen in America through slavery, through Jim Crow, but now you're asking Americans today and in the future to pay that bill. Is it that bill? Is it their bill, Americans today, to pay?
Yes, it is. And the interest has compounded. And it will continue to compound in interest until that debt is paid. That's just what the hell it is. This dude right here, he's running around talking like this, man. Let's go here real quick. We don't even need to continue, family, because I know you all heard that already. And I don't want to piss you off any more than I have to. But I want to go here. Shout out to our brother Nas. Because our brother Nas posted this here that says a lot about Byron Donalds. And I'm pretty sure it says a lot about Sholdon Daniels as well. Here we go. So, the Black immigrant, this is our brother Nas saying this. The Black immigrant Republican Byron Donalds takes money from Israel, but has the nerve to say he doesn't support reparations for Black Americans. He should be consistent. He needs to tell those, the Ish community, I call them Ish because, you know, they're not Jews. They're not anything. Anybody with the Ish on their name are the Ish people. That just means to be like, which means that you're not them. But anyway, he should be consistent and he needs to tell the Ish people who fund him that he's against reparations for the Ish people as well. And I 100% agree. I 100% agree. Excuse me. Salute to Marvin C for being here. Shout out to you, family. And salute to Didn't Have to Be Here Running Wild. That name gets me. Salute. Shout out to you, family. Yeah, but this man is taking $25,277 on one donation, $17,377 on another donation, $7,900 on another donation. So he's taking donations from these people, from the Ish people, while turning around and telling us we don't deserve reparations. When these people have been getting reparations and their Holocaust didn't even happen on this land. We didn't have nothing to do with their Holocaust. As a matter of fact, we went and helped them free them from their Holocaust. And we're paying reparations. And we're giving funding to them. But Byron Donalds has nothing to say on this. He has absolutely nothing to say on this. So, family, I'm going to be honest with you. When he said they have me running against her, who are the they that he's speaking of? I'm just wondering, who are the they in which he's speaking of? I can show you who I can only assume they are. Let's go here. Could this be the they that he's speaking of?
AIPAC has been working with Morehouse for 30 years. Ann Spellman, and I'm shocked that you didn't mention Clark Atlanta, because there aren't two historically black colleges in Atlanta. There are three, and the most important in terms of the U.S.-Israel relationship by far is Clark Atlanta, because Clark Atlanta is the home of the Vanguard Leadership Group, which has been sending 50 African-American student leaders to the AIPAC Policy Conference for the last 12 years. They're now a national movement. AIPAC has no idea how to engage any of these groups because we never once targeted groups. We targeted Amanda and Darius and Albert and Jared and Natasha, all of whom, by the way, will be in Congress or the state houses, all of whom have more influence over their social groups of hundreds or thousands than will ever be impacted by a speech, by a movie, by a pamphlet, by a website. There are 6 ways to get the relationship building process right. And I don't pretend for a second that we invented this. We learned from Miller, and we learned from Alinsky, and we learned from the people that have been doing retail engagement for 100 years. But the relationship building process must be a natural one. AIPAC has been working with Morehouse for 30 years. Ann Spellman, and I'm shocked that you didn't mention Clark Atlanta, because there aren't two historically black colleges in Atlanta. There are 3, and the most.
Could this be? Could that be the reason? Could they be the people who's making him run against Jasmine Crockett? I don't know. It sounds like that could be the case. That sounds like that could be the case. Salute to our brother, Big Black God. Thank you very much for your Cash App, family. I appreciate your donation. Your gift is blessed tenfold. I'm convinced. Since we know that white supremacy like to play both sides of the fence, I'm convinced this is exactly what's happening. They saying how turned off we are with Jasmine. Because Jasmine, she's a big ass turn off. Everybody knows she's turning everybody off. That's why I don't think that she could be married. That's just, but still, she's a turn off. And so they say, you know what? Well, let's put an articulate brother in there and let's run him as a Republican. And maybe we can get them on that end. And that way we can convince them that they don't need reparations. I mean, what does that guy look like to you? What does that say to you? And there's another thing I want to show you. Let me just show you this real quick. Here he is with somebody who is basically accused of scamming folk out of their money. Grant Cardone. Let me show you here. So, financial influencer Grant Cardone says that he can make you a billionaire. His investors claim he defrauded them. So, what we have here is a man who's chilling with a tether, chilling with a scammer, chilling with a tether, chilling with a scammer. This is what I get out of this. And these two tethers, well, I don't know if this dude's a tether, so I'm going to say this tether and this suspected tether. These two are going around with this talking point of, well, we don't know who's going to get it. It's just going to be so tough to decide who's going to get it. And there's really no way to figure out how to get this, yada, yada, yada. I want to play this documentary that PBS put together on reparations, on the reparations conversation. And this is a behind the scenes clip. I want to get into this because everybody knows who gets reparations. And everybody understands this delineation because of the necessary need. So these chumps here are just running around here lying their ass off with the same talking points. The exact same talking points. Let's go here, family.
Why that's important.
It's very important because lineage base goes to a specific ethnic group of people who need repair. We are dealing with delineation because since we've had a lot of migration into America starting in the 80s, we have been dealing with this thing of flat blackness, where everyone who comes into the country takes on this identity of a Black American. But there are actually Black Americans here who have to share that title of Blackness with their ethnicity, their race, and their cultural identity. And so when we're dealing with Blackness here in the United States, lineage based, we're talking about a specific ethnic group of people who come from the Americas. May they have been here before Columbus, or may they have been brought here as enslaved people from the diaspora. We are specifically dealing with repair for those people. So people who migrated into the country, say from the diaspora, from the continent of Africa, or from the West Indies, this form of repair for reparations for this distinct lineage-based people is not for people who immigrated into the country and are calling themselves Black. So that distinction, and it's caused us literally for the last 20 years, we've been facing the fact that as Black Americans, we're going to have to delineate ourselves and separate ourselves from this flat blackness because we are a specific group of people with thousands of inventions and everything that deals with culture. Language, religious, customs, dance, food, and a history, a shared history.
I understand what you're saying about how the term Black has kind of been, remixed over the years. The Black experience for people who look like me and you, who look like y'all sit down in the audience, like people don't care, like if you're from the West Indies, if you're from the continent, if you.
Notice how the person giving the interview, notice how she just hit her with the, they don't care where you're from, you're all look alike if you get pulled over and all this. She hit that same talking point. I smell a tether.
Been born and raised in the States and are descendant of enslaved people, you're Black and you have this experience. So then what does reparations look like if it's delineated in that way?
Okay, well, let me start here. It doesn't look the same to me. Blackness does not look the same to me if you're coming from the diaspora into the country. From the foundation, number one, you're making a choice to migrate into a country that have certain customs and traditions when it comes to racial disparities.
Pause. Shout out to the sister for saying that, because I tell people all the damn time, you chose to come here. You, for some damn reason, you saw what was going on to black folks in this country and said, you know what? I want some of that. You chose to come here. So you cannot say, I deserve redress too. I go through racism too. I was oppressed too. You chose your route of oppression. That's just what it is. You could have stayed at home around all the people who looked like you, who is a part of your community, and not have to deal with the racism and oppression in America. Now, you would still have to deal with colonization, but that's a whole different beast. You're here in America because you chose to leave where you were from in order to come and benefit from the wealth that slave labor produced. That's what it is. So don't nobody deserve anything outside of us. I don't care if you went through oppression. I don't care if you went through police brutality. I don't care. You chose to come to this land knowing all that was going on with us. And then you hopped on board with the white supremacists. That's what you did. Thinking because you're not like us and you say it in the accent, I am not like that Negro over there. That they would accept you. But they don't. And not only do they not accept you, they look at you like a despicable stain. While you smiling all up in their face and tap dancing and all this other stuff. Let's be 100. They deserve CARICOM reparations. As far as U.S. reparations, that's strictly for foundational Black Americans. Exactly. Our labor built this country. We are owed. And I'm going to be honest with you. At this point in time, I don't even care about whether they get reparations or not. Y'all overly trying to be in our business. You're not taking care of your own. And I'm going to be 100 with you. Your best bet would have been being very supportive of us getting our reparations. Why? Because then we would have been very supportive in helping you get yours. But no, you're over here actively fighting against us. Actively fighting against us getting our reparation and getting what's owed to us in our own damn country. And guess what? Because you're doing that, CARICOM will not see a reparations check. That's going to be on the universe doing, not by anything. Don't take it from me. Look at the progress that they've made, or the lack thereof. Because they're too busy being in our business over here. That's it. Let's get back over here.
In the country. And so you're making a conscious decision to leave your homeland and to bite the bullet and to come in this country and to make the best out of what you have. from the foundation, that's a completely different ideology from a people who were already living here, who had to deal with colonization, or a people who were stolen from their homeland and brought over here as an enslaved people and had to deal with colonization. Those specific people that I'm talking about, Black Americans, have a specific atrocities towards them, not choice-based. And it's starting from enslavement all the way to present day. And so anyone who decides to jump on this roller coaster of oppression is going to have to go to the back of the line if they want those grievances addressed, because there are millions of us, over 50 million of us, who did not have a objective choice to be in this battle. And so,
and I would say, take it a step further, if you got grievances, leave the country, go home. Because again, you chose to come here to deal with the same grievances that we've already been having. So your grievances don't matter to me. Especially when you're fighting against us getting what's owed to us. So if you got any grievances, I want you to go home. I want you to go ahead and pack up everything you got up in your house and move wherever you came from. Puerto Rico, Jamaica, anywhere in the Caribbean. I don't care. Africa, Europe, don't care. Because you made an active decision to come over here, knowing what the race relations are to this day, was then and still is to this day. You chose that. Let's not forget that. So the only people that is owed a damn penny on this continent, the only people that grievance matters, is foundational Black Americans. That's it. That's all. Salute the Black troops for throwing up the ICE number. Call ICE and call them twice.
we're at a loss on many different levels. We don't get immigration status. We don't get special loans from being immigrants. We don't get protection from being immigrants. We don't have a homeland that we can go back to. We don't have a homeland that we can make money here and invest in. We're at home. So we're in a completely different situation than anyone who made a conscious decision to come to this country for the American dream.
Is it beyond that? Does it go into mental health? Does it go into, redlining? Does it go into financial education? Does it go into all these different ways that
notice how this reporter is trying to take it into other areas, right? Does it go into financial education? Does it go into redlining? All trying to find an area that someone else can wiggle their self into. Well, I was redlined. I was oppressed. Voters suppressed me. And that's why it's very important not just to say that reparations is for literal slavery, the unpaid labor of the slaves. That's what we start off with. And then once that's addressed, we move on to the next topic of the situation, the next part of the oppression. Now we need reparative justice for the Black codes. Now we need, after we get that, now we need reparative justice for Jim Crow and the effects of that. All of these things are totally different redresses. But guess what? None of you tethers and no black immigrant outside will receive any of that redress either. Period. Because all those things stems from the legacy of slavery here in America. I don't know how much clearer I can put it. I'm trying to be as clear as the waters at Laguna Beach. And so now they're trying to tie the reparations claim, or at least this woman is trying to tie the reparations claim to other areas of oppression to see if other people can get in on that. And salute to this sister for her response, because she responds beautifully. What in the goddamn hell? Come on, puke tube.
Descendants of African American slaves or enslaved Africans have been affected. What exactly does it look like for you? If at the end of this task force and they come and present their findings and legislation does happen, what then does it like realistically look like to you?
Okay. So first of all, from an individual stance of Black Americans here, number one, it is cash payments. There is a debt that is owed. There is a debt that is owed for people who worked and built the economy of this country. That is cash. I don't want a voucher. I don't want trickle down economics. It starts with cash payment. It starts with a cash payment because a cash payment is owed. And the United States government knew that. With Reconstruction, it was discussed. They said that they needed to repay 40 acres and a mule. That was not received. We have the Freedmen Bank, which was dismantled and robbed. And the United States government supported those actions. We have a loss. For instance, the last study number that the California Task Force put out is discussing the New Deal, which started in 1933, where states and federal governments passed laws where they were not going to give loans and allow Blacks to live into certain neighborhoods, where they dismantled the equity in homes based on Black neighborhoods, redlining. And between 1933 and 1977, that is $569 billion that is lost by California-only residents, not the United States. And California alone, 44 years, $569 billion were stolen from Black Americans, things they could have gained in equity, neighborhoods they could have lived in, and things like that. That is cash. That is not trickle down economics. That is not for people of color. That is not minority. That is for Black Americans who suffer financial loss that they cannot hold down to future generations. So the majority of Californians are renting. And if your family has been here, as long as my family has been here, there should be land handed down from generation to generation. I should not struggle to send my children to college because I should be able to pull money out of the equity of my home, but I can't because I was blocked out of that market. And so that is financial repair. When it comes to a general repair, yes, they need to have programs that address mental illness. They need programs to address medical apartheid. We were living in red line districts where a lot of our ancestors, like my mother, died of cancer. My grandmother died of cancer. My aunt died of cancer. They lived their entire lives in San Francisco, in the Fillmore and Bayview area, which are redlining districts surrounded by factories and freeways, and the toxins have literally wiped out my family. So there has to be repair for that also. Yeah, I'll talk about housing and how.
Family, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. The whole situation of programs, and this is one of the reasons why when I wrote my reparations bill, I made sure to separate cash payments from programs that could be created by the Freedmen's Bureau. And by doing that, I'm not just making sure that we're set up cash-wise, but that we're addressing issues like mental health, because white supremacy is a mother lover and it does affect people's mental health. I have a section where it does address all the inequities within the law. Do you understand how many laws would have to be just revised due to the way that the laws target foundational Black Americans? We have to have an overhaul of the law because so many statutes either exclude foundational Black Americans or it's written in a way where we cannot benefit from the same things that everyone else are benefiting from. So that has to be addressed. Schooling is another thing that has to be addressed. But these are different programs within a reparations package, all of a reparations package. It isn't one or the other, right? It isn't a free schooling. It isn't free housing. It isn't tax-free status. It's all of those things, because all of those things are owed. All of those things are owed. So it isn't just one piece of the pie to just get the money. It isn't one thing or the other. All the things that Native Americans get and receive, we should be getting and receiving. Period, point, and black. So programs is just a piece of the pie. Cash payments is just a piece of the pie. Land grants is just a piece of the pie. And we got to make sure that we're keeping this type of language. Because don't think once we get that check, that it's over from there. No. That's just one piece of the pie. That's just one small piece of the pie. Now, let's move on to the next piece of the pie. Because I don't want to leave here until this whole pie is eaten. I got to eat this piece. I have to eat this pie in sections. And that's how we get things done. You eat your pie in sections. Right now, we're concentrated on the cash payment aspect of it. But once the cash payment aspect is done, guess what? Okay, now bring on our programs. Once that's done, okay, now we need to redress for the Black codes. We need to go through all these laws and make sure none of these laws are predatory to foundational Black American, aka the American freedmen. After that, we need redress for Jim Crow. All the situations that had the red line, we need to make sure that we get just grants wherever the hell we want to live, we can go and live. Like, these things is what needs to happen. It needs to happen sectionally, piece by piece by piece. And it's not just one thing. It is all things. It is everything, because we're owed all things and everything in this country as an American and as the builders of America. There shouldn't be nobody living more lavish than our people. Period, point, and black. And if I'm wrong about that, please let me know. But there is nobody on this continent that is more deserving to live a lavish lifestyle than us. Period. Now, before we get up out of here, family, I said we were going to go to the comments, and that's what we're going to do, because it is truly hilarious When I say he shot himself in the foot, I wasn't being facetious. When I say he shot himself in the foot, I was not joking around, my family. Let's go here. Now, we're back at the video. This is the video where he said he don't believe in reparations. When they give money to immigrants, you can hear a rat piss on God. Nobody did a word. Nobody says a word. I feel you on that, Black Spider. Real stuff. That's some stuff that my grandfather would say. You can hear a rat pissing on cotton. Oh, I love that. Oh, so let's go here, family, because I want to get to these comments. Show and I am my ancestors. Say, you just sunk your campaign. Your only choice was to galvanize Crockpott's base to either run red or sit it out. For you to claim to be a descendant and not willing to advocate for your freedmen rights and repair is treasonous to your bloodline. Some sins of the father are inherited. You damn right. So he goes on, he comes back, he said, not true. Look at the data. And this Anita Albright, I don't know what the hell, I'm not even going to read her comment. But I want to get here. This is the comment right here that tore me apart. Oh, wow. F you. F your campaign, F your whack ass mama, F your punk ass daddy, F your kids, F your wife, F whatever party you are a part of, F everything connected to you, F everything you love. My God. In my head, I'm gonna be honest with you, family. I cried when I could not breathe when I read that. I read that over and over again, and I literally ran out of breath. To be 100 with you, she's basically said, F everything about you. What's your likes, your dislikes, your family.
Fuck him, goddammit, and fuck anybody with his ass. Yeah.
That's basically what she said. 100%. She cooked them. She cooked them. I wish it was a video. So I wish it was a video so I could hear it in her own damn words, in her own voice. I mean, but god dang it, just to go off, F you, F your campaign, F your whack ass mama, F your punk ass daddy, F your kids, F your wife, F whoever party you belong to, F everyone you connected to, F everything you love and stand for. God dang. She went the hell off on it. But on life, family, I'm be honest with you. I'm not mad at her. I'm happy. I'm glad people are out here literally calling this dude out and giving him the business. All these politicians have to get it into their minds that if you're not going to represent us, I don't give a damn what your constituency look like. If you're not going to represent us as a people, we're your people. Don't expect us to represent you. Don't expect us to push you forward. Don't do it. Don't expect us to show up for you when you can't even speak up for us. I don't care what your constituency look like. All they're going to care about is whether you're going to get things done for them. But if you get things done for them, they won't care about you being pro-black. They won't care about you getting things done for people in your community as well. And all you have to do, since your constituency is predominantly not black, is keep them happy while speaking up for us. You don't even have to really do anything for us because you don't have the power to in your area. But speaking for reparations, that would help you a lot more, because now you got people who are actively saying that they're not going to vote for you. They're going to make sure you don't win. So now the question is, do you go and vote for Mrs. Snuffleupagus and her heavy eyelashes? Or do you vote for the suspected tether who don't believe in reparations? Neither one of them really believes in reparations, but neither one of them are going to be able to do nothing for the Black community. So who do you support in this situation? I would say sit that bitch out. I'm going to be 100. I would support the couch in this situation. Because neither this dude, the suspected tether, or Mrs. Snuffleupagus, neither one of them are doing anything for the Black community. And neither one of them really believes in pushing reparations. This guy apparently is a flip-flop. He's being paid. I'm suspect, this is alleged, but I'm suspecting he's being paid by AIPAC. But we won't know until his campaign contributions come out. I went looking, trust me, I went looking. But since he's just now starting to run, there isn't anything posted on his campaign contributions. But the question is, who do you support? That's the real question. But for FBA, we know who not to support. That's just the truth. And who we're not going to support is you, Mr. Daniels. You would have did better running on the reparations platform, knowing that you had no Black folk, no foundational Black Americans in your district. You would have did way better. And then making sure you had different policies for, other people in your constituents. You dig me? Well, somebody did make this video right here, and I find it hilarious, so I'm gonna share it with you. When he gets that wake-up call, because like I said, nobody's voting against anybody anymore. If you're not bringing any tangible policies, we don't care. We're not listening to you. We're not walking in. And if you get in there, fine. And if you don't, fine. Either way, it matters not to us. But if you don't get in there because you wasn't willing to stand up and say, yeah, I support reparations, although I don't have a lot of foundational Black Americans in my district, I know it would help them tremendously. But let me also give you some other policies that I support for my district. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to sound like. It seems like we're out here trying to teach these people how to do jobs that they're supposed to have been doing for years. This makes absolutely no damn sense. And then you wouldn't even have to worry about too much if you didn't support reparations and you ran on the reparations platform, because you don't have to do too much. What'll benefit your constituents will benefit them all. And then you do something directly for the little bit of foundational Black Americans in your area. Find a program for them. I know foundational Black Americans are, 80% more likely to deal with dirty air and transmission in the environment. So we want to put together a program that helps out in these areas. Like, there are things that you can do, but you shot yourself in the foot. So if you don't win, Just know it's going to be a lot of this going on.
Get on, Green Jimmy the cricket suit wearing ass motherfucker. Get on, short Colin Powell haircut having ass motherfucker. Get on, little Angela Davis mustache wearing ass motherfucker. Get on, little Richard Pryor shortcut fade having around the side wearing motherfucker. Little Sammy Davis Award Jr. Afro haircut having ass motherfucker. Get on, little Dynamite Disco Danny demonstrating. Get on. Get on, Green Jimmy the cricket suit wearing ass motherfucker. Get on, short Colin Powell haircut having ass motherfucker. Get on, little Angela Davis mustache wearing ass motherfucker. Get on, little Richard Pryor shortcut fade having around the side wearing motherfucker. Little Sammy Davis Award Jr. Afro haircut having ass motherfucker. Get on, little Dynamite Disco Danny demonstrating. Get on, get on, Green Jimmy the
Family, I'm sorry, I let that play twice because I'm over here laughing my ass off. I'm over here crying. Yeah, family, you better get ready for a lot of that if you don't win. And it's gonna be on you. And that's another thing that we're gonna start doing. Well, continue to do, not start, continue to do. We're gonna remind everybody why you lost. Because we don't want no misnomers about why you lost. I don't want you thinking that, they just had more people on the right or on the left, whatever. No. You lost because you didn't deal with a critical part of your constituencies. And that is the foundational Black American, aka the American freedman. And we're going to continue to say nanny, nanny, boo, boo, stick your head in doo, doo. Over and over again. Yes, Black Spider, my sister. Over and over and over and over again. And they're going to get so tired of it that you're going to have to do something. And the smart people, they're going to learn from all the mistakes. Salute to our brother Marvin. And you got dang right. Bolin and Bush, both taken out by the same people that funded them. Ain't that interesting? Both people taken out by the people who funded them. Yeah, I don't think that you want to be that guy. I don't think you want to lead off your political career like that. But hey, if that's what your decision is, to be a loser, then hey, do your thing. But if you want to win, and this is me talking to any aspiring politician. If you want to be like these losers, go right ahead. You can see your time pass you by, and none of that time will be in office. But if you want to really get things done, you need to come and knock on the door of foundational Black Americans. Come have a seat at our table and make sure that you brought lunch. Oh, did you think you was coming into our house and we were going to feed you? No. You coming into our house, you're going to kick your shoes off in the corner over there. You don't want you getting nothing on my carpet. You're going to kick your shoes off. You're going to sit at this table and you're going to show me what you brought me for lunch. And if that lunch ain't big enough, I guess you got to go and get dinner too. That is the new normal. And all you folks out there better get used to it. Because it isn't stupidity that wins and loses elections. Hell, George Bush won his election and he was dumb as hell. It's support. And if you don't have no grassroots support, let's be 100% honest. you ain't got nothing. Especially as a Democrat. If you choose to run as a Democrat, you have absolutely nothing. If you're not supporting foundational Black Americans. But don't let it confuse you. That goes for the people on the right too, with black faces. Don't think that you're just going to get into these positions of power and we're going to let you. We're not going to help you if you don't want to help us. If you didn't bring dinner, if you didn't bring lunch, oh, there's a problem there, buddy. We're going to kick you right up out the back door. We ain't even going to send you out the front door. We don't even want you to grab your shoes. We'll kick you out the back door. Get your ass up out of here. And I'm keeping the shoes. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. Salute the big black God. I appreciate your Cash App again. Family, your donation is blessed tenfold. Don't think that we're just gonna let anybody do anything and then we're gonna put you back in office. Don't think that we're gonna allow you to do everything and anything for everyone else, and we're not gonna make sure that you're gonna get yourself up out of there. And if you're not speaking about doing for us, don't think that we're going to help propel you into the office that you look for. That's it. That's all. But with that being said, family, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you're hitting that like and share button so we can beat up the algorithm, make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And if you have not done so yet, please make sure you click that link in the description, go to change.org and put your signature on the petition for reparations. Family, I want to make this clear as well. Me saying this and doing this broadcast about Mr. Daniels is not an endorsement of Miss Snuffleupagus. As a matter of fact, it's quite the opposite. It is not an endorsement for either one. I find that my family out in Dallas, you guys have one choice to make, and that's the couch. That's just in my opinion. But I don't want to tell anybody what to do with your vote. You make your own choice that's going to benefit you. Now, if he comes with some better policies and it's just a flat policy thing and you like his policies, do your thing. But family, I'm going to be honest with you. As a foundational Black American and American freeman, I am at this point in time, I'm just staying as a one topic voter. That's it. I got one agenda. And that agenda is reparations and a transformative Black policies, a transformative Black agenda, excuse me. But that's all one agenda. So if you ain't coming with policies that directly affect foundational Black Americans, you ain't getting my vote. If you're not coming with reparations in the pathway, damn a pathway. If you're not coming with the check, you're not getting my vote. And I don't give a damn who likes it. I don't give a damn who don't. It is what it is. Exactly. If you ain't coming with a Black hate crime bill, don't care. See, a lot of these folks, they're just so dense. They're so dense. They're dunce. Let's put it like that. They're dunce. They need a dunce cap. Because they might not be dense. They need a dunce cap. Because if they were smart, they would get on the winning team. This dude literally wrote about reparations, saying we need to get together and fight for it, only to turn around and change his position to appease his paymasters. Well, have fun with those paymasters, and when they get done with you, like they always do, and you get broken, don't come crawling back over here saying I was trying to do the spook next to the door type stuff, and I was trying to intersect, the Republican Party so we could have somebody on the inside, and I was trying to make sure that we can have somebody in the Republican Party that would push reparations, but I just never got a chance to push it. No, we're not having any of that. We're not having any of this secret squirrel crap. We're not doing any of that. We're just not. If you're not willing to speak up for us or say what you're going to do for us or speak about your support for our reparations or any policy that benefits us, we have no need for you. And we don't care about replacing one that we have no need for with another that we have no need for. Not at all. Before we get up out of here, let me say thank you to our members. I want to give a shout out to Aquarius Minded. Thank you for joining the membership family. I appreciate you. Your blessing is blessed tenfold. Stolen Ancestors 1526. Shout out to you, my sister. Thank you for being a member. Denise, Miss Nisi, Hurricane Nisi. Thank you, my sister, for being a member. Black Spider, shalom, my sister, and thank you for being a member. Shabazz American Freedman, shalom to you, family, and thank you for being a member. And Elaine, Zanga, thank you for being a member. I appreciate each and every one of you for your contributions. Family, we're waking up in a way that they hate it, and I love it. I'm here for all the ish. I'm here for all of it. So I want to make sure the next time when things go down in the way that they're going to go down with this dude or anybody else, we're going to do some black and petty. We got to make sure that we do a black and petty for it. Because people like Jamal Bowman and people like Cory Bush and all these politicians with a black face, yeah, they need the finger pointed at them, and they need us to be going, aha, 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 so that they can get their damn minds right. You'll never know how bad you did until somebody walk up to you and say, damn, that was bad. So let's remind these folks over and over again. On one hand, if you don't vote for us, if you don't represent us, if you don't bring us policy, if you don't bring us lunch and dinner, we're going to kick you right out that door with no shoes. And on the other hand, if you're in there and you do absolutely nothing for us, we're going to get you up out of there. But we're not going to replace one with the other if they're both going to do the same job. It's a no for me, dog. It is a clear-cut no for me. But thank you all for being here today, family. I want you to have a beautiful rest of your day. With that being said, family, the doors of the church are now closed. Peace, family.
My grandfather built this country, man. He fought wars for it. And most places he went wouldn't let him sit down and get a cup of coffee. I can't even catch a cab in New York. It doesn't matter how many degrees I get. All you people see is color. Your grandfather was an immigrant. You're American. My grandfather was born here, Duke. And you people still look at me as just another nigga.
I know that the government, whatever can't stand us black people, he's doing everything in in the world to make black man be extinct. But I'm gonna tell you one thing, us black people gonna survive. So fuck everybody. I'm off.